Well, ladies and gentlemen, August is heating up. Governments across the globe are collapsing. Civil unrest is growing. Will your country be next? The governments in the UK, Sri Lanka, Cuba, Venezuela, Italy, the Netherlands, Estonia, and Israel have all collapsed within the last 30 to 60 days. Leaders within those countries are resigning at record pace. And now, most recently, Argentina is collapsing. The people refusing to work amid major subsidy cuts. Protests have erupted in Buenos Aires over the past 90 days and continue to build inside the capital as residents battle with their center left. That's being generous. Far left would be a better word for that. Over sizable amendments to social programs. You know, this is just the latest in a very large string of governments that have been having problems, especially over the last several years. As anyone who has half a brain will tell you, that socialism and communism and Marxism do not work. It is not a sustainable form of government, and especially in the last decade or so, where you have more and more people who are refusing to work and are simply living off from the work and money of those people that do work. It is an unsustainable method to any country. Um, you've seen the Dutch protests with the farmers that are fed up with all of the regulations that are trying to be imposed on them by the New World Order cabal. You've got all of these other countries that are upset with the tyrannical measures that have been put in place over the last couple of years. You've got citizens across the planet that are standing up and making sure that their voices are heard, that they have had enough of this. And unfortunately, as the New World Order continues to push towards the Great Reset, I think that you are going to see this trend continue, and you are going to see more and more people that are taking to extreme measures because of the actions that their government are taking to try to silence the citizens of their country and are imposing all of these draconian measures. I mean, we've all seen the videos that have come out of China. We've all seen the videos of uh, the the way that their tyrannical government up in Canada reacted to the trucker protests. And even here in the United States, you are seeing all of these tyrannical Gestapo governments throughout this country that are trying to push all of these measures upon the citizens. And rightfully so, people have had enough. The when you have a government that is supposed to be representing the people and is supposed to be elected by the people, the government and the elected officials are supposed to be working for the people. The people are not servants of the government. And that is a huge mistake that many of these people are making. They are looking at themselves like they are kings and queens, and we, the citizens, are the peasants. And that's not the way things work in a representative government. And unfortunately, I think that when you look at whether it's countries like Israel that have suffered through issues with their government for years, whether you look at countries like Argentina and Cuba and some of these other places that have also struggled for years, it's getting to the point where it's no longer sustainable. A friend of mine just got back from visiting Cuba for a few days, and the things that citizens in Cuba are going through is, I'd say, shocking, but if you've kept up with what's going on in Cuba and Venezuela and some of these other countries, it's not really so much shocking because all the things that you thought were happening and all of the things that you kind of hear little whispers of happening are all true. They are being limited to what they can buy. And I shouldn't even say buy, it's what they are given. I mean, they have little books of, for lack of a better term, coupons that you go and, you're allowed to shop on certain days and you're allowed to get certain things by the government and you're limited to, how much meat you can get and you're limited to, a few eggs, at a time. And people there are close to starving. They don't have the ability to go to a store like we do here in the United States. And, you've got, 20 different cleaning products and you've got, 30 different kinds of cereal and you've got, 3 or 4 different types of peaches and pears and meats. And oh no, I mean, you're lucky that when you go to the store in these places that you get it, you have a selection, you have one choice of beef. Today it may be ground beef, next month it may be steak. You may have to wait in line for 8 hours to get to the selection of products, and you were hoping to get maybe some protein and some vegetables and some fruit, and you walk away with some cleaning product and you know, some vegetable oil because that's all that was there today. And you may go back tomorrow and you may wait in line for hours again, and you may get some paper towels and some pears. And when that is your life and you are being taxed at extremely high rates, it's not going to take long before people finally have enough. And it doesn't matter how much you threaten them, and it doesn't matter how harsh the punishment is for speaking out against those governments. It's going to reach the point where, the tipping point of when people just don't care anymore. And unfortunately, we're not even, well, I guess we're just over halfway through the year. And my guess is that there are going to be more governments throughout this planet that are currently on the tipping point that these New World Order, Great Reset scumbags are going to keep cracking down on people and keep trying to put their thumb on people. And you are going to see more and more governments collapsing and more countries breaking out into civil unrest as the citizens let these scumbags know that they have had enough. For God and country, good night.